Yeah, pop open a cold one, ladies and gentlemen, and a Pepsi, fittingly enough, for this show. Double or Nothing 2022. Tomas has it. He manifested it. I was at yours and Brittany's place watching this show. It was a hell of a time. But, dude, man, there's a lot to talk about. It's so eventful. So
There's
damn
a lot
eventful.
to talk about. First of all, it was lovely having you over. Hopefully, in the future, we could possibly do a live review. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
But
It's going to happen, dude.
Yeah, we were literally right next to each other. Hint, hint, foreshadowing. There was definitely a lot to be talked about. A lot of stuff happened on the show, and we got 14 fucking matches on the show.
Yeah,
the buy-in.
This show was so fucking long. I was drained by the main event.
Yeah, and we're definitely going to talk about that. We are talking about AEW Double or Nothing here tonight, emanating live from the MGM Live. Oh wait, I'm sorry, no,
it's a T-Mobile Arena. WWE's going to MGM, which is
I'm thinking about
time
WWE.
warp.
I'm thinking about WWE and their downgraded arena situation that they got going on. Don't worry, we will be complaining about WWE next week with Hell in a Cell, but we're going to talk about AEW.
We sure will.
Was a very good show, but there were things that I had issues with it. Let me get this out of the way right now. AEW, thank you for being the safe haven, the safe house, my safe space from the diarrhea content that WWE is giving us right now that I have straight up refused to watch other than pay-per-views. This is what I am with Life of Wrestling right now. I am trying to watch AEW on the weekly. I have sworn off Raw and SmackDown until they get this title situation underhand or until they get their shit together, whatever first. And I am eyeballing, and I mean the literal definition of eyeballing NXT. Like, it's background noise to me at this point. We are also aware that there's an In Your House coming up this weekend that I will literally be eyeballing. I got a lot of stuff going on this weekend, so I will be literally eyeballing. There's like literally 5 shows that I'm trying to keep up with right now. So I'm sorry, NXT In Your House. If you're going to give me a watered down NXT, you're going to be background noise.
Bronson Steiner versus Joe Gacy. Like, come on. Like, who wants to watch that when you can watch Hangman Page versus
that's actually a good match, and I really like what Gacy is doing. What I don't like is the incredibly lame and unimaginative stipulation that they have that if Breaker gets disqualified or counted out, he loses the title.
Oh, we've seen that situation. We've seen that stipulation so many times, but
but like I was saying, I totally got off topic.
Yeah,
AEW, thank you for being
like, we're not talking about NXT 2.0 right now.
Garbage, for protecting me from garbage WWE content, but at the same time, I have my fair issues with this show and with AEW in general. So this is my advice to all wrestling fans out there. We can love AEW and be very thankful that they're a thing, but that does not mean we need to look at them as this flawless, perfect company that can do no wrong. Because they did some wrong tonight. Luckily, it was more good than bad, but they did some wrong tonight, in my opinion. But the first thing, as we mentioned this show was way too fucking long.
Yeah, 5 hours, I think.
5 hours.
Yeah, it's almost like an old school style WrestleMania 35. You know, it was like shit.
Hours, not including the pre-show, which at least we get a pre-match here that we will talk about in a minute. But that's my first thing. I could have thought of 3 or 4 matches that could have been axed from this card, and I'm not the only one. There were a lot of fans saying that.
But then again, I understand why Tony Khan put them on the pay-per-view to keep all of his ex-WWE talent happy that he's signing over, as the shoot promo of the century emanated last night at the time of recording. But yeah, we watched AEW Double or Nothing emanating from the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas this year. First time since the original Double or Nothing in 2019. Yeah. Fun fact.
JR stated that this is the largest crowd AEW has ever performed in front of, which is pretty daunting. Like I said, AEW's only been around for 3 or 4 years, and they're doing a lot. And it's every time we get to a Double or Nothing, we've come a long way from Jon Moxley debuting at the end of the first ever, the inaugural Double or Nothing, and DDT and Kenny Omega on the giant casino chips. But a lot of, and here's the thing, I don't want AEW to be perfect because everything and anything can improve. So I'm looking forward to giving my issues I had with this pay-per-view and with AEW in general, because
Oh,
you
here
saw
we go. You
last
want to just
match, I was getting delusional.
you want to just dive right in?
Yes, I do.
There was a very overact in this buy-in match. We have Hookhausen, very nice, very evil, going against Tony Nese and Smart Mark Sterling. And I told Tomas up front, I finally got why he's called Smart Mark, because it's a play on words of what we as wrestling fans are, apparently. Smart Marks, and he's a heel.
It's okay, Zach, because if you don't watch, unless you watch AEW Dark Elevation, you may not know who Smart Mark Sterling is. He is the manager of TBS champion Jade Cargill, and he is the manager of very underutilized. You want to call Hook? I mean, you want to call Danhausen very nice, very evil? Well, I call Tony Nese very underrated and very underutilized.
Yep.
Tony Nese, one of the
He's
best pickups from WWE, and he hasn't really done anything.
He's better than you, and he's got 8 reasons why right there. But
Yeah, he's
I
a
mean,
pure athlete, and he's
he
not
is
doing anything.
very much overshadowed by Hook, who, understandably so, is very, very over with this crowd. He got a huge pop when his Eminem style theme blared over the PA. Danhausen, though, like, Tony Nese squashed this guy on Dynamite, and I didn't think this guy was a wrestler when I first saw him. I thought he was just a big old joke character. But then he's going out here and he's pulling off Hurricane Ranas. Like, he's definitely healed from the knee injury that people were telling me about and that Tomas was telling me about.
Danhausen is a very, very over character that AEW has picked up. They're using him in different kind of scenarios right now with the company. I'm going to be in the minority, and I know I'm Mr. No Fun over here. I'm not a fan of just throwing these two together just to
Oh,
make a joke tag team. I think Hook needs to be Mr. No Nonsense right now, and he is. And I do think he just needs to be going out there and killing people and making a name for himself and hopefully getting some championship gold around his waist. And I'm not talking about the tag team titles. This
not
is a guy.
surely not the FTW title, which I'm sure his father wants to do sometime. But
Yeah, but I just feel like this is just a feud that went a little too far, and it may hurt Hook in the long run more than helping him. If anything, Hook needs to turn heel sooner rather than later and just beat the piss out of Danhausen. Get
yeah,
this,
but people are gonna cheer Hook anyway. I feel like regardless, even if he does beat up Danhausen,
but
people
that
love
doesn't
Hook. They
yeah,
love
but
Hook.
fan, all due respect, I do think that's a moot point because fans are going to cheer for whoever they want to cheer for, regardless of the heel face status.
Yeah,
In this
yeah,
Undisputed Era
fair
are
enough.
heels, and they get cheered every single night. Adam Cole is one of the best heels in the business. The fans are still singing along with his theme song every single night.
Of course,
So
yeah,
if
they
you
do
go
the
by
boom.
that logic, then everybody's a babyface.
By that logic, and then yeah, MJF is the most over babyface on the roster right now. And we'll
Yeah,
get to
but
him.
as you were saying, there wasn't really much to this match. Just some very
Yeah,
impressive offense from Hook and Danhausen.
yeah,
Kind of Danhausen being kind of the distraction, the mage to Hook's, just his straight up offense. And then once Hook gets the tag, it's game over for
Oh,
Sterling and Nese. They didn't have a chance.
funny enough, Miro was not involved in this match, and you said game over. That's a dream match right there. Hook versus Miro. I just want to see those two beat the shit out of each other. My lord. But yeah, Hook basically goes in, beats the shit out of both of the heels. Danhausen is begging for the tag, and he actually gets the pin on Smart Mark. Danhausen wins the match for his team. I mean, it was like a house show quality match, I would say, maybe star and 3/4. The crowd was into this, but I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I had no issue with the match. I just feel like with the setup, it could have been a lot more. It could have been sillier.
oh,
It could have been a lot
with
sillier.
with fucking Danhausen involved, of course it could have been sillier. Like that's
It's kind of like what they were doing with Broken Matt Hardy in WWE. Like, I know Matt Hardy can wrestle. I'm not here to watch Broken Matt Hardy wrestle. I'm here to see him do all of the silly shit. The
all
shit
this
that
silly
got over in
shit.
TNA.
I hate mustard, stuff like that.
Something
But
along the lines of that. So this match was harmless. It was there. Nothing you needed to go out of your way to watch the buy-in,
no,
unless you hadn't ordered the pay-per-view already and you were just trying to get convinced to order this pay-per-view. But
of course. This
we
first
are
match
into
certainly was a big buy-in for this show.
yeah,
Absolutely.
opening up the show was a very controversial match, and at this
Hmm.
point, I'm convinced was a work considering the promo that we got on Wednesday. As many people as it was reported by many wrestling sites over the weekend, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, who was scheduled to face Wardlow on the show, no-showed an autograph signing for AEW FanFest the night before. There was rumors that he no-showed the event and then he got on a plane and left Las Vegas. So we were all wondering what was going to happen with this match. I wasn't convinced it was a work because I feel like if it was, AEW would have been all over social media saying, MJF no-showed this event. He's just trying to run away from Wardlow. He doesn't want to wrestle Wardlow. He's scared of Wardlow. So a lot of us were wondering what was going to be the state of this match. And I thought it was very interesting that they opened with this match and how they stalled MJF's entrance, because I'm going to straight up say they worked us. They
did. Tomas can attest to this. I was sitting there pretty much on the edge of my seat waiting to see if this fucker was going to come out. And it felt like an eternity passed. And he finally comes out with his stupid robe. And he gets in the ring. And he does a stupid little plane thing to mock the crowd. And these people in Las Vegas hated MJF. And they wanted Wardlow to come in and beat the fuck out of him. And
if
Tomas did say,
if I'm going to nitpick about one little thing about this angle, I will say MJF's kind of working of the crowd kind of overshadowed the overall narrative that him and Wardlow were trying to tell. With it's been months and months and months of MJF kind of just abusing Wardlow, and then Wardlow having enough and not helping MJF in the dog collar match against CM Punk. To, MJF saying, I own your ass, I own your contract. If you want to face me, you get no more entrance music. You have to enter and exit the arena, security escorted in handcuffs. And you're going to have to do everything that I say. You have to face Shawn Spears in a cage. I get to whip you 10 times on national television, which you just literally tore a book out of the Cody Rhodes feud that you literally did 3 years ago.
Yeah.
This overall narrative that's supposed to get Wardlow over, I think MJF kind of overshadowed it by trying to work the fans. And that's the only nitpick I have with this feud.
Yeah, he basically was so first of all, let's just say that the fans were pissed when MJF no-showed the contract signing, but that's the amazing thing about this Maxwell Jacob Friedman as a performer. You have no idea if what he's doing is actually a work or a shoot, just because that's his fucking character.
Also, here's the thing. MJF no-showing an autograph signing feels very much in character, because if you see this guy, how committed he is to his gimmick.
If you ever go to a contract signing with MJF featured, he will not shake your hand and he will roll your eyes when you put something in front of him. And it is glorious. I see it on YouTube and it's just awesome.
He charges $600 for a cameo. And if you somehow can afford that cameo, he will spend literally the next few minutes just telling you why you're the worst person in the world. Just basically, I just from what you just said and from what I just said, it's like, why would you want to go to an autograph signing with MJF there when he clearly doesn't like fans? He literally told a little girl that she should have been aborted. This guy does not give a flying fuck what he says to fans.
He's committed to the bit, man. He's committed to the bit.
He worked us all. He definitely worked us all this weekend, but I just don't think it was worth it to not bury Wardlow, but kind of overshadow him, because this was Wardlow's launching point.
It sure was. Wardlow got sorry to cut you off. He got the full Goldberg style entrance. People were chanting Wardlow's name like a Goldberg, which I did see Tomas roll his eyes at, and he's like, "Don't make me think about Goldberg right now, guys." But Wardlow comes in there, and he goes for power bombs. MJF is playing the wuss, and then he goes for
the beginning of this match.
Yeah, he goes for the Dynamite Diamond ring. The referee pulls it out of his hand, and then it's a fucking massacre. It's not a squash of MJF. This is man, he was literally led to the gallows here. 10 power bombs. Yep. That's all this match was. Wardlow puts a foot on MJF after 5. He ref counts 1, 2, and he's like, I'm not done yet. And then he doubles what he did. 10 power bombs in total. I thought it was going to be freaking 30 power bombs. I never wanted to see.
MJF was kind of coming off like a bump pussy, because I noticed he was not fully taking those power bombs. He was trying to relieve some of that impact, and I'm just like, Motherfucker, take that bump like a man.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's a piece of shit, but Wardlow pins MJF and he's officially all elite, and the graphic pops up and he's getting the "you deserve it" chance after that.
As a match, I don't really want to rate it, but as a satisfying burial, fuck it, I'll give it 5 stars in that regard.
Yeah,
This was
this
very
is
satisfying to watch.
this is a 5-star burial that I will give 2 thumbs up. But as a match, technically speaking, this is a 1.5 stars. It did not need to go 7.5 minutes, that's for sure. Tomas can attest so that I put on my stopwatch when the bell rang, and I was like, let's see how long this fucking match goes, because we have a lot to get to. I was shocked that it went 7 minutes.
AEW doesn't do that, 30-second bullshit stuff. You know what I mean?
No.
I feel like WWE will do it just as a shock factor. The 18 seconds, the 30 seconds, the claiming that Big Show only held the title for 90 seconds when it went almost 5 minutes. WWE, don't try to pull that bullshit.
Well, you know why that is? It's because Tony Khan knows that we're paying $50 a pop for this pay-per-view, and WWE shows nowadays you get it for like $9.99. It's a steal.
I kind of look at it as we waited 4 months for this match, or like even longer considering how
4 years
been in it.
Since the beginning of AEW. These two were together. Wardlow has been his heater from the start, and this match
so long for this match. Like, what's 6 more minutes before the real massacre starts? So I
don't know, man. It's
whatever gives Wardlow more TV time. I would not be saying this 2 years ago. I would not be saying this, but after watching this and after watching AEW this past Wednesday, Wardlow has gold written all over him.
He does.
With the right booking and the right writing, Wardlow can be a world champion one day.
Oh, he 100%. Can be. I've been saying it for like a couple years now. I think Wardlow's got money written all over him. This was the match that was supposed to be his launching point, but the bigger star coming out of this, I can argue, is MJF, because if you have not seen Wednesday's Dynamite, he cut what, in my humble opinion, maybe a top 5 promo in wrestling history. He goes out there, it is a scathing pipe bomb shoot promo. And
now,
just words cannot do it justice. Go watch it.
I don't want to call it a pipe bomb because this was MJF's own creation.
It was. It sure was.
Now the next question is MJF working us again? Is MJF...
He's gone. He's so gone. I think he's gone. But
is he really going to WWE, or is he just working us to the point where him and Tony Khan, this is their master scheme. They've been fighting just to get the fans talking.
Well,
and in reality, we might see the world title around MJF's waist.
We could be. We could be. He is definitely a possibility, but also keeping in mind, him and Cody Rhodes are very, very tight in real life. So think that as you will.
We don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, and it's so unpredictable.
In today's day and age with pro wrestling, I don't think MJF is probably the only other person I've seen keep a good secret than Chris Jericho did back in like 2012 when he somehow kept it a secret that he was coming back to WWE.
MJF is a better kept secret than Buddy Murphy is, apparently, or Buddy Matthews now. But okay. Up next, speaking of unpredictable, is probably the match I was personally looking forward to the most on this show. The Young Bucks going up against the Hardys, the Hardy Boys, whatever you want to call them. This Jeff Hardy, man, he is doing some stunts on these AEW shows since he came over that are pretty damn unnecessary.
He doesn't need to.
He doesn't need to, and the Bucks are the Bucks, and I feel like they carried the Hardys. Not to say that they were not trying in this thing, but I just feel like this match could have been so much better than it was. Perhaps with a stipulation, maybe it could be better upon rewatch, but
yeah, it couldn't. Here comes issue number 1 I have with AEW. I don't need to see the Hardy Boys featured anymore. I'm sorry. I don't need to see it.
Well, because
they're always going to be over. Jeff's always going to get the pop, no matter what. Fans are never going to complain. But I don't know. For me, I've been watching the Hardy Boys for 20 plus years. I don't really need to see this anymore.
Hey,
and I know.
I welcome it. They're my favorite tag team of all time.
Yeah, but I don't want to see them in their 60s jumping off ladders anymore.
Man, you say that and it's like it's almost like a joke, but I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised if Matt Hardy at fucking 60 years old was doing the fucking leg drop off the middle rope, and I'm like, you don't need to do that, sir.
Last year, Ricky Morton did a Canadian Destroyer. Don't ever tell me anything's not possible.
Yeah, yeah. Ricky Morton has definitely not put his body like through hell like Matt has. So,
Rick Flair is returning to the ring this summer. Don't tell me that these. Oh my God.
bad idea, but
I know I'm in the minority. But
I mean, there were some nice transitions at the start of the match. I liked Nick Jackson's reversal out of Poetry in Motion. Like, Jeff caught that freaking enziguri like nobody else could, and it was super clean.
One thing I will give credit to this feud, they literally gave this feud like 2 weeks, but the Bucks made it work. Like, they dressed up like the Hardys on that episode of Rampage, and they fucking worked everybody there too.
And that's another thing. This was marketed as a dream match, even though those of us who have been watching Ring of Honor for the longest time know that this has happened at least 5 separate times, including in Ladder War. So,
and AEW did make a notch that they even had Ian Riccaboni. I'm sorry, not Riccaboni. Caprice Coleman of the Ring of Honor announce team calling this match, which I thought was a nice touch.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
Very much to a point that the Hardys and the Bucks were a staple in 2016 and 2017. Literally, the Bucks and the Hardys worked the Friday before WrestleMania.
They did. In a ladder war, and then they go and have a ladder match at Mania 33. So there's some high-flying action, of course, because it's the Young Bucks. Matt Hardy hits a side effect on Matt Jackson on the apron, which looked sick. And it was around this point in the match where I kind of noticed that Jeff Hardy was in a bad way. Man, this fucking guy.
Let me tell you this. I saw Jeff Hardy in a bad way. SummerSlam 2018, when he fought Shinsuke Nakamura and he missed that swanton on the apron. That's when I was saying Jeff Hardy was in bad shape. That was 4 years ago. Doing it.
Yeah, he's doing a swanton on Nick Jackson, who's on the side of the ring stairs on the outside, and it's like if Jeff missed that, he would have been dead easily. He had to stick the landing, and thank God the fucker did that.
I was having nasty SummerSlam 2018 flashbacks when I saw that spot holding up, and I'm just like, I was concerned about Jeff's health in 2018. Here we are in 2022, and this guy is doing these spots like on a bi-weekly basis. And I'm just saying, Jeff, you don't need to. I know he wants to.
Doesn't need to, but he does it anyway. He's
nothing against anybody. And he's not Sammy Guevara. He's not, any of these young guys that feel like they need to prove something to somebody by doing these crazy spots. He's Jeff fucking Hardy.
Yeah, he has
and regardless of how I feel about him today, he's a legend.
No concern for his well-being at all. That's ain't that the truth there? But
also, you heard it here first. If fans really think that Jeff's never going to be seen in WWE again, you're delusional. He'll be back.
Yeah. Both Hardys will be inducted into that Hall of Fame someday, even though it's kind of bullshit. But that's another topic for another time.
Let Jeff have his little bitch fest right now, and he'll be back.
Yep.
He literally did the same thing in 2009.
Same with Chris Jericho. He'll be inducted in the Hall of Fame too. But this was, it was a really, really good match. I think it could have definitely been better. I think the Bucks were out wrestling the Hardys so much in this thing, and I credit the Bucks with being a better tag team than the Usos. They're the best tag team right now, and nobody else can prove me otherwise. Jeff hits a swanton. Matt hit a side effect twist of fate combo on Matt in the ring. Jeff hit a swanton bomb, and then Hardys win, surprisingly. Maybe that's because Tony Khan is a big mark for the Hardys, and he wants to put the AEW tag titles on them before it's too fucking late to do that.
I think it already is too fucking late, but considering what happened in the main event,
look at the main event of this show, though. He's going to. So,
if you ever wonder what it's like for a mark to book his own wrestling company, look no farther than AEW. Anywho,
fucking relax. It's just Tony Khan.
Giving this match 3 1/4. Like, this was fine. but I would gladly go back and watch any of the Ring of Honor matches before I revisit this one.
Yeah, I'm going with 3.5 here. I liked it. The crowd was certainly into it, but I think I would have liked it more with a stipulation like Ladder War, which I think is their best match. Nick, I don't even think Nick hit a swanton of his own in this match, which shocked me. Stolen finishers are my favorite trope in wrestling, and I was like, I know the Bucks can do the fucking Hardys stint, or not their stint, their signatures. And they didn't pull it off in this match. Yeah,
this was the match to do it. I don't want to say this was the worst match of the night, but it was pretty underwhelming. It's Jade Cargill versus Anna Jay for the TBS title, and I'm sorry, every time they book Cargill on pay-per-view, I just see squash.
Yeah, it's definitely a squash, and Anna Jay is just... Oh, Jungle Boy's a lucky man. I'll say that much. And I wanted her to win.
Reminds me of like Beth Phoenix in 2007.
Yeah, I wanted Anna Jay to win this belt so badly.
And considering, if you want to consider the TBS title an entirely separate division from the main world title, the main women's title, that's fine. But if you're looking at it that way, that's like comparing the 2008 Divas division to like the 2017 women's division in WWE.
You can't.
It's very different. And
you can't. They're incomparable.
They're lining up these people like firewood, or I forget what the saying is, just for Jade Cargill and knock them all down. Basically. And I would say she's getting better. She's getting very, very good.
You don't work with Bryan Danielson and not improve. It's Jade Cargill has certainly shown a lot of growth here. This match was fine. I mean, it was the match I was least interested in throughout the entire show, just because basically I knew the outcome. The big story of this match, though, were the oodles of interference that we got here. First of all, I mean, we all know that Naomi and Sasha Banks walked out on WWE and dropped the women's tag titles on Johnny Ace's desk. The one thing I was like, what if I was, and Tomas, again, he can attest to this because he was sitting right next to me. I was joking like, hey, what if fucking Mercedes just walks through the crowd? Fucking Kiera Hogan runs interference and I see the blue hair and I'm like, holy shit, it's Sasha Banks. And then I'm like, oh, okay, never mind.
I hate to be that guy, but considering that they're suspended right now and we're not going to be seeing either of them in any other company anytime soon.
Not for a long time. The only way you're going to see Sasha Banks in any form of entertainment right now is in season 3 of The Mandalorian. That's it.
But also, we did see Kiera Hogan and Red Velvet sitting in the audience. And I know they're a part of a little stable.
I'm sorry, who? Red Velvet? Who's that?
You know exactly who she is. Anywho, but I marked out when we got the debut of Malcolm Bivens, a.k.a. Stokely Hathaway, fresh off his release from WWE. He made his entrance. I marked out, and the first thing I said is, WWE, you're fucking lost. You released best fucking manager in wrestling right now. And that's AEW's game. You're fucking lost.
Match made in heaven. Match made in heaven, man. And Anna Jay...
They're already using him better than WWE would have.
Because he actually, catered to the finish here. He actually played a factor. Anna Jay was so distracted by him on the top rope, and Jade Cargill hits her finisher. She's 32-0. She retains the TBS title. It's a match made in heaven. It's great. I love this pairing.
But here's the thing. If WWE would have kept Stokely Hathaway, they would have brought him up to Raw, and he'd be wrestling for the 24/7 title.
Yeah, he sure would, wouldn't he?
What a fucking fantastic manager he is.
He'd be the next Drake Maverick, basically, feuding with Reggie. But this is certainly a much better way to use Stokely Hathaway as the hype voice, hype man for the baddies. But
you see that picture of a raccoon just sitting in the middle of the street? That's Roderick Strong right now in NXT.
Oh, poor Roddy. He wishes he was in this promotion right now. But
just sitting there like that raccoon, just like...
Yeah. You'll probably see him in AEW before the end of the year. I'm pretty confident saying that. Friends. But I'm gonna go 2 stars. I mean, it was fine. It's a better Jade Cargill match than you would expect. But I feel like, again, once you see the pattern of a Jade Cargill match, you can't unsee it. You know what I mean? As soon as you watch enough, if you watch her on Rampage all the time, there's no way that you can't unsee that formula of a Jade match. But
it's 2007 Beth Phoenix, and then after the match, we were considering if we were going to get a Chris Statlander heel turn.
This is the
I'm
big
glad
story.
we didn't get it because we did get another debut. This one wasn't as surprising because I saw it coming a little, but fresh off of her 90-day no-compete clause, it's Athena.
What a pickup.
Fuck yes. I was so happy to see her in AEW. Yep.
He sure was. He sure was. Again, he jumped out of his chair. He was like, oh my God, it's Athena, you know, popping as loud as I was when I thought Kiera Hogan was Sasha Banks. But Athena goes in there, evens the odds for Chris Statlander, who is a very over babyface on the Go Home Rampage. And
Stokely Hathaway, being the fucking good manager he is, backs his team down. Again, like the good fucking manager he is, he backs shit down.
Yep, that'll be a trios tag team match to watch out for, coming soon to AEW Dark. But speaking of trios tag matches, here is what I thought was the best match on the show for a while: Death Triangle versus House of Black. And I know Tomas's favorite tag team right now is the Lucha Bros, so I know he was hyped for this one. Penta Oscuro comes out with his son in the most adorable entrance I think I've ever seen. His son was all decked out in his dad's gear and everything. It was great. But House of Black's entrance, though, might have just stolen the entire weekend. They come out. Malachi Black is his usual, like creepy face paint itself. Brody King and Buddy Matthews were also painted out the wazoo. And it was like they had a big pirate flag drop down as they come out, and it's all like, smoke and mirrors and everything like that. Great entrance.
Number one, Brody King is a very extremely intimidating, just visual of a man. He's what a specimen. Holy shit. He looks like he's 7 foot tall. He looks like has the wingspan of a fucking airplane. He looks like he could kill you with one elbow.
He looks like a fridge. Yeah. He's like a walking fridge.
Yeah, what a specimen. Also, how could I not be excited for this match as my favorite tag team and my favorite wrestler in AEW right now? But yes.
Who, Pac?
Yeah.
Really? Oh, yeah. That's an answer I wasn't expecting. I was expecting you to say Penta, but Pac? Okay.
Pac's my favorite wrestler in AEW.
Yeah, he should have been the world champion a long time ago, huh? A long time ago.
Only injury-prone wrestler in AEW. Fucking hell, of course, my favorite's injury-prone.
Pac. Yeah. No, I thought you were gonna say Samoa Joe for a second, but hey, Max Caster said it first, not me. But okay, this thing was fucking chaos. So many moves, so many miles a minute, and these guys were working their tails off.
I'm gonna steal something. I'm gonna steal a quote, not a quote, but like just a retro and just something from Good Mic Work, my favorite wrestling commentator on YouTube. This is one of those matches you just sit back and just don't take any notes. You just soak it in.
It's impossible to go play-by-play on this match like I usually do for a lot of these. I'm kind of going off the cuff for this review if you haven't noticed, but this match especially is a big reason why, because Tomas and Brittany and I were just kind of sitting back, and we were just in awe of the athleticism these six were putting themselves through. Even fucking
suicide dives, tope suicide. I mean, over the top rope conheros, just any sort of high flying maneuver you could think of was in this fucking match.
Can I please have Pac versus Buddy Matthews in a 30-minute clinic? Because these two are so similar in style. And it feels like they could have a never-ending feud of matches similar to, I'm going to say his name, Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit. I feel like those two could have matches with each other, and I would never get tired of them. Never would.
And the king of consistency, Malachi Black, he lost his eye to Buddy Matthews 2 years ago.
Yep. Later, he sure did, didn't he?
And he has recruited Matthews to be a part of his stable.
He has one contact that is just piercing white, and then the other is just his normal eye color. That was Buddy Matthews' doing in the WWE Performance Center during the pandemic.
I respect Malachi Black for just keeping that as his gimmick forever.
It's so awesome. So great. So great. Mm-hmm. Man, so there was a Penta hits a Canadian Destroyer on Buddy Matthews on the apron, And I legitimately screamed when I saw that. I'm like, Buddy Matthews, you have the most guts in the entire promotion to take that bump. Not even fucking Matt Jackson taking a side effect on the apron tops the Canadian Destroyer on the apron. Like, there's no fucking way.
The very thought of Brody King taken to the skies was probably the scariest thing in this match.
And he fucking did. He fucking did. I mean, granted, he didn't stick the landing as well as I would have liked. I mean, that's kind of my one nitpick with this match. It was a little bit too botchy here and there at times, but I really, really, really dug this match. But
seeing that behemoth take to the skies was just fucking awe-inspiring.
Yeah, man, it's like, it's one of those matches where word on the street is that I was supposed to go to Double or Nothing this year, and that's absolutely the truth. That was my plan. But this was one of those matches. I look at Tomas, I was like, man, I should have gone. Man, I really regret not being there.
It was absolutely amazing.
It was great. And the finish, so Pac is going up for the Black Arrow on Malachi. And keeping in mind, Malachi has hit the Black Mass, and he's the heel, fighting off all three babyfaces by himself. Hits both Phoenix and Penta with the Black Mass. Pac goes up to the top rope, goes for the Black Arrow. Lights go out. And then who pops up but Julia Hart, the newest member of the House of Black, finally converted. Talk about consistency and long-term booking. Sprays the black mist in Pac's eyes. And the distraction is enough for Pac to take a Black Mass after that. And Pac is pinned. House of Black wins.
You can tell that Malachi Black has all the creative freedom in the world when it comes to House of Black. He is probably writing all the scripts. He's producing all of these promos. And again, his attention to detail with his eye, something that happened in WWE, which is basically in the multiverse at this point, that he's carrying that with him to all these promotions. And he started this thing with Julia Hart, and he followed up with it. You know, this could have been a, you know, I hate to make this comparison, but it's very much like Bray Wyatt and Alexa Bliss, but this actually has an ending. It actually has a payoff.
Everybody on Twitter saying that The Fiend is returning at Hell in a Cell. I'm like, we'll see. We'll see. I'll believe it when I see it, man. But
so I know I'm in the minority, but I really want to see House of Black versus Judgment Day.
I wanted to say that, but I'm so glad you think so too. Like, if WWE had the balls to run a super show with this promotion, like, this would be the match they would book. House of Black versus Judgment Day. Even though House of Black actually makes sense in terms of their motives, you know, Judgment Day I'm still kind of figuring out. But
I would just want to see Malachi Black and Edge cut a promo against each other. That alone would make me happy.
But this trios match was fucking awesome. 4.5 stars. So much better than their buy-in match that they had at Revolution with Redbeard subbing in for Phoenix at that point, because Phoenix was injured, unfortunately. But
still not as good as the Bucks versus the Lucha Bros in the cage match, but
no. That was the best tag team match I've ever seen.
Every time I see the Lucha Bros on pay-per-view, I know they're going to have match of the night.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure.
They're my favorite tag team for a reason.
Sure are. You can certainly see why, but
here we go. Some back-to-back tournament finals time. It's the men's Owen Hart Foundation tournament final. Adam Cole, baby, taking on the Ring of Honor television champion, Samoa Joe.
This is a dream match and a half. This is a dream match and a half, isn't it? This was, I think, aside from the Bucks and the Hardys, like, these two had never locked up before. And I was so looking forward to it. This is a really interesting clash of styles here. Joe being the big babyface bruiser. Adam Cole being the little chicken shit heel that one guy by the name of Owen Hart was back in his heyday. Adam Cole comes out with pink and black trunks, and I'm like, I feel like the writing's on the wall here, isn't it? Adam Cole's going to win this whole fucking tournament.
When Samoa Joe re-debuted in AEW and he had that television title match on Dynamite, or I think it was his first match back. Oh no, when he had the match against Max Caster when he qualified for the Owen tournament. That match alone made me remember why I love Samoa Joe so much.
Yep.
And he's still fucking kicking.
Joe's the man. I know joking aside, I know I was playing off of Max Caster's injury-prone rap that he cut on Samoa Joe. But I fucking love that guy. He does it like nobody else can. And his brief stint in AEW so far with this Owen Hart tournament, again, reminded me why I love Samoa Joe as much as I do. And this is a match I was really looking forward to. Unfortunately, I will say that this match was not as good as I wanted it to be. I was a little bit let down by it, if I'm being honest. Adam Cole, obviously, he was not going to hit a Panama Sunrise on Samoa Joe. There was no way. No way in hell. I think if he actually pulled that off, this would have been freaking, like, 5 stars out the wazoo for sure.
Yeah, before we get to the inevitable finish, I think this match was an excellent combination of good grappling and really good striking as well.
Yeah. Oh,
we
for
know how
sure.
Cole and Joe could be.
Absolutely.
Yeah, a good combination of grappling, submissions, and just some very, very cool strikes.
You want to know what my biggest issue with this match was Bobby Fish. He was running so much interference, and I was sitting there saying, if you're running a tournament memorializing Owen Hart for the first time in, like, God knows how long, since his death in 1999, since Raw is Owen, this is the first time you're really memorializing Owen Hart in squared circle, and you're ending this tournament with interference? Like, I don't know, man. I get that Owen Hart was a heel for a lot of his career, but, like, it just kind of, like, I don't want to say it ticks me off, but I was like,
protecting Samoa Joe here, because it did. After that, Adam Cole hits the boom, and he sort of pins Joe clean right in the middle of the ring.
He does. Only one last shot. I think the last shot is a better name than the boom, by the way. I don't care what you AEW marks say.
No, boom is better.
No, the last shot is such a cool name.
The last shot is so generic.
Oh, I'm so disappointed. But yeah, Adam Cole, of course, with his pink and black trunks, defeats Samoa Joe clean in the middle of the ring with one last shot, or the boom, or the Adam Cole Busaiku knee to the back of the head, the standing Ushi Goroshi, whatever you want to call it. Apparently, I'm going to give this match a little bit of a pass here, 3.5 stars. I liked it. I think it could have been better if Adam Cole wasn't working injured like reports are claiming to be. That's why Adam Cole was not in the big 10-man tag match on Dynamite this last Wednesday, because he's still kind of dealing with some nagging issues with his health, but hopefully he gets that cleared up soon, because Adam Cole is the man. But yeah, what'd you think?
I thought this was very fun. I know it may have not been the 5-star clinic some people were hoping for, but I had a really good time watching these two. The finish didn't really bother me as much as other people did. I think the very concept of what happens next bothers me a little more. If you want to tell us what's happening next.
Yeah, it's Dr. Britt Baker, D.M.D. versus Ruby Soho in the finals of the Women's Owen Hart Cup. Dr. Britt Baker is played to the ring by Fozzie's guitarist. How does Ruby Soho one-up this? Fucking Rancid is out there playing her theme music, and I was so happy for Ruby Soho, because she had never gotten the proper push that she had deserved while she was in WWE. And getting that live performance there, that was her WrestleMania entrance right there.
Yep, Rancid, the very band that gave their blessing to Ruby to use the name Ruby Soho.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool to see them play her out to the ring. And I'm just going to jump right to it. My biggest issue is I think the wrong person went over in this match.
Yeah, this crowd wanted Ruby Soho to win, but, you know, it's interesting. It's interesting that you say that, because Britt Baker and Adam Cole, when they were first announced for this tournament, when I saw that Britt Baker was in this thing, she wasn't challenging for the women's title for the first time in God knows how long, I was like, she's a shoo-in to win this thing. It's a little bit too obvious. And then I see Adam Cole on the other side of the bracket, and I'm like, okay, it's a bit predictable to have both of them win, but I mean, as long as the road to get there leads to good wrestling, I don't mind predictability in my wrestling sometimes, as long as it's the content to get there. Is a thumbs up.
I hate to make this comparison, but I totally get where you're coming from. This is like comparing this to the King and the Queen of the Ring tournament that WWE ran last year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know, as much as I wasn't a huge fan of of course I was happy that Xavier Woods got his moment, but neither of those journeys were really that satisfying in the end. I was in attendance for some of those King of the Ring matches, and aside from Finn Balor versus Cesaro, the matches that I saw that night were kind of a letdown. And I don't want to say a lot of the matches in the Owen Hart Cup were terrible,
I think there was some good wrestling in there, but including those two matches with this one and the Adam Cole match from like a few moments before, these were very much like Rampage quality matches, if that makes sense.
I can sit here and have my opinions and have my preferences all day, but at least I enjoyed these matches.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm not saying I disliked this match at all. I thought it was good. I loved the finish of this match. Dr. Britt Baker does not beat Ruby Soho with the lockjaw, oddly enough. Ruby Soho goes for a nice little victory roll. And much like the WrestleMania 10 finish featuring Owen Hart in my favorite opening match on pay-per-view of all time, Dr. Britt Baker reverses into her own inside cradle and pins Ruby Soho in the middle of the ring, completely by surprise. Again, protecting the loser in some ways. I would have preferred if Adam Cole had beaten Samoa Joe this way too, but I get how you can't have like repetitive back-to-back finishes like that. But
I understand that the visual of Cole and Baker and one without the other would have made sense, but I don't know. I just feel like it was a little too on the nose. Like, I feel like
good thing this is going to be a yearly tournament, so we don't have to worry about like, oh, the couple sharing the trophy basically. So
yeah, it's like, okay, fine, you want to do it now, get it out of the way, but
I like
this.
Yeah, so
very nice.
First of all, I liked this match more than the previous match, oddly enough. I was really invested in it. 3.5 stars, same rating, but what happened after this was probably the highlight of the whole tournament. Tony Schiavone introduces Owen Hart's widow, Dr. Martha Hart. She comes out to a great ovation. She's wearing such a fun hat, and she basically
required that everybody next year must have a hat, just like hers. And you know what?
Her speech,
I would pull the fucking Titanic on my back for you.
Yeah,
I would gladly go get a hat like that for you.
Her speech was absolutely wonderful, and this was a big healing thing for her. Tomas and I were joking around a lot of the time, but when Dr. Martha Hart was speaking in front of the capacity crowd in Las Vegas, yeah, we were silent. We were glued to the screen listening to what she had to say. And she basically, she was very, very humbled. And she basically confirmed that this was going to be a yearly thing. And she presented Adam Cole and Dr. Britt Baker with their own championship belts to take home for winning the tournament, which are parallel to Owen Hart's Stampede Wrestling Championships that he was winning. And I'm like, what a fucking Easter egg right there. I love that visual. And Adam Cole actually does come out with the men's Owen Hart Cup belt on Dynamite too. So that's a really nice little added touch there.
So like Dr. Martha Hart said, thank you AEW, thank you Chris Jericho, thank you Tony Khan for literally being the first wrestling company to honor Owen
properly.
It really just makes you ashamed, even more ashamed of WWE.
Yeah.
Like we were sitting there talking about it, I'm like,
because the Owen Hart thing, even if you watch Dark Side of the Ring, and a great fucking documentary there, the Owen Hart tragedy never needed to happen.
No, it should have never happened.
Did not. Owen should still be with us right now.
Owen should have been there to present these trophies.
Yeah. But I'm sure he was looking down very, very proud of all the fantastic wrestling that is going on in his honor right now. I still miss Owen Hart dearly, but yeah, man.
We're going to follow up this really great moment with a fucking holy fucking shit. Are you ready for this? It's America Top Team. Ethan Page, the team champion Scorpio Sky, and a debuting Paige VanZant. Yeah, great way to debut her. Versus babyface Frankie Kazarian, heel Sammy Guevara, and heel Ty Conti in a 6-person tag team match. And if America Top Team wins, Kazarian and Guevara cannot challenge for the TNT title as long as Scorpio Sky is champion.
May
Holy
I?
Fucking shit. Where do we begin?
May I?
The floor is yours, my friend.
So, in the previous segment there, Adam Cole and Dr. Britt Baker are presented these titles as top baby faces. They're presented as heels on TV, right? And they're kissing on stage because they're a real-life couple and what have you. And the crowd is cheering them. Adam Cole and Dr. Britt Baker, two of the top heels in the promotion. Sammy Guevara and Ty Conti go out there and they're making out on stage and the crowd fucking hates their guts. And they're supposed to be the baby faces. Who am I supposed to cheer for here? Frankie Kazarian is the only likable person in this entire match. Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page are pricks.
Because it looks like they're turning the tie with Scorpio Sky and turning him babyface, but then they remember he's a part of America Top Team.
Yeah.
Him and
so
Ethan
split
Page
them up.
God
Scorpio Sky and Frankie Kazarian should have never been split up in the first place.
Oh.
Fuck, dude.
Paige VanZant, the newest signee to AEW via the UFC.
She's not ready. She's not ready.
She's in this match. Horrible way to debut her. Also, I had to explain to you guys that the UFC titles that Sammy Guevara and Ty Conti were wearing to the ring were stolen. Also, seeing a UFC title on AEW was fucking mind-blowing.
The multiverse confirmed. Multiverse confirmed. Next up is Ronda Rousey showing up with the SmackDown Women's title. Could you fucking imagine?
This just fucking reeked of when America Top Team was in Impact, and Lashley and Moose and Rampage Jackson and Tito Ortiz and all these fucking, oh my God, this shit just reeked of it.
It did, didn't it? It did. I mean, Paige VanZant was trying belly-to-belly suplexes, handspring elbows. It's offense that doesn't really look very good, unfortunately. I'm sure she's a genuine soul. She wasn't ready to be featured on pay-per-view here. And Ty Conti was certainly trying her best to make her look good and everything like that, but...
So in this mess of a fucking feud, why are you debuting her here?
I don't fucking know, man. Maybe it's to show off Scorpio Sky's new TNT Championship design there, which is reeking of LA Lakers colors there. Because, you know, SoCal Uncensored. It doesn't. This is a match that could have been scrapped. The highlight here, though, was close to the end of the match. Sammy Guevara goes for a super kick on Scorpio Sky, who moves out of the way. Sammy super kicks his own girlfriend, and he is just... I don't even know how to describe this facial expression he has, but he looks like, oh my God, I'm going to have to sleep on the floor tonight. And the crowd...
Kazarian had walked out on the match at this point.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, dude, yeah, go for it. I completely forgot about that.
This is Kazarian's first pay-per-view match in God knows how long.
Dude, and you want to talk about underrated? Frankie Kazarian.
He still looks fucking good.
Yeah. He's fucking great. Jacked. Give him a fucking TNT title shot now. Like, he can't.
Kazarian walks out on Guevara because he's the babyface. And he walks away, but after Conti eats the super kick, Kazarian slips back in the ring. He attacks Guevara, and Sky is able to pick up the victory. And this match wasn't horrible. This match was not horrible.
It wasn't.
Just booking was fucking
2 1/4. I mean, 2.5 of them being nice, but
Sammy Guevara even went on social media and said, "I know what you're thinking. Thank God this feud is over."
Yeah.
Aware of how bad it was.
I mean, Sammy's a piece of shit on TV now, but I couldn't agree more with him. And I'm someone who I was a big believer in Sammy Guevara for the longest time. But ever since they blurred real life a little bit too much, and since he and Ty Conti became an item, they're insufferable. And I mean, all the better for it. I mean, makes them better characters in the long haul. But my favorite part of this match was not only the super kick, but the fans' reaction to it. They chanted right at Sammy's face, "You fucked up." Damn right he did. Damn right he did. But
so at this point, I'm starting to get tired.
Mm-hmm. How about Darby Allin versus Kyle O'Reilly to wake you up, huh?
Another match that didn't need to be on this pay-per-view?
My lord, what are you talking about? Darby Allin, okay, so the build for this match, again,
I never said the match was bad.
I know.
I said it didn't need to be on this pay-per-view.
I know, but listen, this was honestly, in my eyes, one of my favorite matches on this show. I can't believe I'm saying that. I really dug this.
Just because I say the match shouldn't be on the pay-per-view doesn't mean I didn't think it was a good match.
Right.
I just think there was too many fucking matches on the show, and this didn't need to be on the card.
This is AEW's WrestleMania, though. You got to get everybody involved.
Sure didn't feel like a WrestleMania, I'll tell you that.
Make it 2 nights then next year, huh? Then it'll actually be a WrestleMania. But
maybe just put this match on Dynamite, and we could have enjoyed it for free.
Darby Allin versus Kyle O'Reilly is a great matchup. It was fucking violent, too. Like, my word, you want to Jeff Hardy, we were talking a lot about him earlier on having no regard for his well-being. Darby Allin's gonna, I keep saying, I sound like a broken record. Darby Allin's gonna fucking kill himself one of these days. There was a tope suicida, and Darby Allin almost sticks the landing, putting it mildly. In other words, he completely fucking misses the cue, and Kyle O'Reilly was supposed to catch him in a guillotine choke. Darby Allin eats shit on the floor, and it looked like he legit broke his neck. And Tomas can attest. I stood up and screamed when I saw that. I was like, loud as I possibly could.
It was a gross spot for sure.
Oh God!
That obviously didn't even happen because they never showed the replay. And then immediately on the other side of the ring, they ran it back again.
Yeah. And on the fucked up dive, it looks like Darby Allin. Well, not only did he come up short, but his heel kicked Kyle O'Reilly right in the fucking mouth, and these guys are bleeding. And this is just very.
It was supposed to be because Allin ran it back. He was supposed to suicide dive, and Kyle O'Reilly was going to catch him like in a front chokehold.
Yeah, and a guillotine choke.
Which he did, but just.
And it's a cool spot. It's a cool spot, but that was kind of telegraphed after the fuck up there. But there was also a coffin drop on the apron too, and it was like, oh my lord, like it makes me shudder to think of Darby Allin in a deathmatch scenario, because I actually think this kid might die if you put him in the ring with like a Nick Gage, for example. Could you imagine? Like,
holy shit.
Oh, that would be awful. But Kyle O'Reilly, again, is another ex-WWE guy who's come in, and I thought he was going to be the NXT champion a year ago. Boy, howdy, was I wrong about that. I hope Tony Khan doesn't fuck this guy up like whoever's in charge of NXT did, but he basically hits 3 PK kicks on Allin as hard as he fucking can, and then he goes up top and hits a axe and smash knee drop and pins Darby Allin in the middle of the ring. This was a 10-minute violent match that I rated 3 3/4 stars. I dug it. I can't believe I'm saying that, but
I really like the match. I'm just saying too many fucking matches on the show. 3.5 for sure. It delivered. It delivered. And just because I say it shouldn't be on the pay-per-view does not mean I did not enjoy this match. Just too many matches, and it's not the last time you're gonna hear me say this tonight.
Even with your homie in the next match.
Next up is Thunder Rosa versus Serena Deeb for the AEW Women's Championship, and to quote good mic work, the journey has been a lot more fun than the destination, because they really haven't done anything with Rosa since she's won this title.
They've literally not put her on TV hardly at all since she won the Women's World Championship. It's been all about the Women's Owen Hart Cup, and it's unfortunate because Thunder Rosa has worked so hard to get to this spot. Serena Deeb has worked so hard to get to this spot, and this is a really good match technically, but it took a long time for this crowd to get into it, unfortunately, and it took a while for me to get into it, quite frankly. I thought they were hitting some great moves. There were some really nice submissions, especially with Serena Deeb involved in there. But, I mean, what else do you really want me to say? I mean, they went 17 minutes, and it was...
Serena Deeb is fucking awesome. That's all I have to say about this.
Man, it would have been...
She stepped up to the plate during this feud.
How cool would it have been if she won the title here? Would have been completely out of left field, but...
It really would have.
You know, kind of too early for Thunder Rosa to drop the title, though, huh? Even though they barely use her.
Yeah. Maybe this could have been a pay-per-view where you left this title off the card if you were going to focus so much on the Owen Cup.
Maybe, yeah. No, Serena Deeb is going for a Texas Cloverleaf. I think the crowd's asleep at this point. And then Thunder Rosa finally hits the Fire Thunder driver for the pinfall victory, retains the title. 3 stars, maybe 3 1/4. I thought it was really good by the end, but it took me a bit to get into this thing, unfortunately.
We are very, very, very neck deep into this pay-per-view. I'm very, very tired at this point. But
this is the match.
If you would have asked a couple of matches from the show, maybe I would have been a little more excited for what we had coming up, because this was a marquee match.
Oh, it sure was. And this is the thing that I loved the absolute most on this show. And I think the Dapper Yapper put it best in what I consider to be one of the best ring announcements of all time. Usually, Justin Roberts is in there completely serious and he's completely hyped, but then the video package for this next match plays, and it cuts to him in the ring and he's super solemn. He's like, it's almost like he saw a kidnapping in the crowd and he's about to report it to people. He's sitting there saying, like, ladies and gentlemen, shit's about to hit the fan, and this is anarchy in the arena.
Said that, I was just like, what is this fucking match gonna be? I'll tell you what it was. This was AEW trying to do Stadium Stampede, but with an arena full of fans.
Oh, it's a fucking street fight and a half. It's gonna be Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley, Eddie Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz against the Jericho Appreciation Society. Jericho's crew comes out and they're dressed up in boy band white. And it took me a minute to figure out what they were dressed up as. And I was like, I can't believe I didn't notice this is a fucking Backstreet Boys thing. Like, they're coming out all white. And then, Jericho's the only one I like in this stable. I'm sorry, I don't care any less about 2.0. Jack Swagger, even more so. Santana and Ortiz come out and they're hyped as hell to be there. Eddie Kingston in this match, though, man. They hit Wild Thing, Jon Moxley's theme song, and it plays for fucking ages.
Like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
At least 5 minutes.
Easily 5 minutes. And then they finally cut off. So, it's funny. Chris Jericho, the rock star, who plays in a rock band on the side, is the one to cut off the rock music. Because his gimmick is he does not like rock music. What the fuck? Makes no sense. But that was... Justin Roberts put it mildly. Shit did hit the fan, and boy howdy did it hit the fan hard. Because these guys fought all over the arena. This is another one of those instances where I looked at you, Tomas, and I was like, God damn, I wish I was there for that. I wish I was there.
It was wild indeed. You had people all over the arena, people fighting in the concourse, and it was a lot like the trios tag. It was just something I just sat back. I'm like, I'm going to experience this because it got really fucking wild really fast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was... I don't really know how to describe it to you. These guys were bleeding before the second round of Wild Thing even started. A lot of those 2.0 dweebs were just gushing blood like a garden hose. It was so much fun. Tony Schiavone said this was better than Stadium Stampede. I've only seen the match twice at this point. I don't think I can say that this is better than either Stadium Stampede. It was certainly freaking violent, though. People were going
Stadium Stampede because
oh yeah,
like I said, this is the kind of match you do in a cinematic style, and I feel like they're gonna have a lot more creative freedom, not being bogged down by hell. I can't believe I'm going to say this. This is a match that benefited more when there was no fans.
Oh, yeah. Oh, totally. Could you imagine this being like just an empty arena match and then the Wild Thing plays like the whole time through?
I know that's a bit of a sensitive subject, but I would like to see an empty arena match again one day. Like, I know that's a...
Yeah.
Don't
yeah.
want to be at that time, but...
Empty arena matches, man. Let's talk about that. That would be fucking depressing now. I mean, it was fun in 1999, but like when the pandemic hit and I was like, oh, man, I don't want to watch wrestling with no fans.
Like, it was weird when they did the halftime heat empty arena match in 2019 during the Super Bowl. And I'm just like, ooh, that was a precursor of things to come. Ooh,
yeah, sure was.
He's going to want to do that for a while.
Sure was, man. But there's weapons all over the place. Eddie Kingston tries to light Chris Jericho on fire at some point. And I've seen the memes of Eddie Kingston walking to the ring with the gasoline tank or whatever it was. And it looked legitimately like a Grand Theft Auto loading screen, the way he was walking into the arena there. This was after he had fought one of the 2.0 nerds on the elevator. Like, we didn't even talk about that. Like, the camera cuts to like just a closed freight elevator door, and Tomas was like, what the hell is going on in that elevator? And I'm like, that's a good question, man. I want to see.
Never found out.
I want to see. But this was, I mean, Mox goes through a barbed wire table on the outside after the 4 former WWE World Champions were in the ring together and fighting each other. Mox goes through the barbed wire table. Somewhere Renee Paquette is like, seriously, what the fuck on Twitter? Like, her husband has been through so much already. Bryan Danielson was the MVP of this match. This guy.
It was near the end of the match, and just when you thought everything was going to be finished and done with, Danielson hits 2 running knees on Jake Hager and Jericho. I think at one point Moxley has the bully choke on Hager, and Danielson has the bell lock on Jericho, and you think that's going to be the end of this fucking match.
Mm-hmm.
It gets broken up, and then Danielson gets Jericho, and he says the line of the night, I'm going to kick his fucking head in.
Yes, and the crowd pops huge. Where are those chants? Where are those chants? Bryan Danielson's solo music has the "you're gonna get your fucking head kicked in" chants like in the music, and yet people, I mean, the yes chants are great. They're never gonna escape Bryan Danielson ever as long as he lives, and even when he's in the grave, people will still be doing the yes chant. It is that iconic. But
it is, yeah.
I mean,
unfortunately, at the end, Jericho puts in the walls of Jericho on Danielson. Hager grabs the ring rope, which got screwed off a long time ago in this match.
It did.
To scoop Danielson out.
Yeah. It was pretty much a callback to Bryan Danielson choking out the Dapper Yapper on the Nexus invasion, and then, Jake Hager does basically gives him what goes around comes around treatment, But I wanted the Blackpool Combat Club to win this so badly. I really did. But
that's what Blood and Guts is for, and we're going to get it.
Yep. They're building up to Blood and Guts in Detroit on Dynamite, I believe.
Damn, you called it. William Regal saying Blood and Guts is nowhere near as iconic as him saying War Games.
Yeah. In bloody War Games.
Blood and Guts, and I was like, it doesn't work that well.
Sorry. Yeah, I thought, man, yeah, it was cool. It was cool hearing him say that, but I'm like, it's not as cool as in bloody War Games. But
no.
Yeah, no, this was my favorite match on the show. 4.5 stars. I really fucking dug this.
It was
so fun.
I'll give it a 4 just because I don't like it as much as Spring Stampede. Stampede.
It's a WCW gimmick now. Like, I mean, it is owned by Turner Corporation, so I mean, it technically is kind of a WCW gimmick if you really want to dig into the multiverse here. But yeah, I mean, I really liked it. Really liked it. Again, Stadium Stampede, both of them, the second Stadium Stampede, 5 stars. The first one is like a 6 stars for me. That's one of my favorite matches of all time. This was never going to live up to those expectations, but damn, again.
And remember, that was during the pandemic, so the fact that we got that just put us all in good spirits.
Totally. I agree.
I'm exhausted at this point, but we're still not fucking done yet. Oh my God, we have a triple threat tag team match for AEW tag team titles. Jurassic Express defending against Team Taz, defending against Swerve and Our Glory. Oh my God, where do I begin?
This match was great. I think this was one of the better matches on the show too. Even though Keith Lee and Swerve
Strickland don't need to be a tag team.
I know they don't. Exactly.
Fans would be fucking livid right now.
They would be fucking furious. I mean,
so it's okay.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Keith Lee should be challenging for the world title instantly, right now. He should be a top contender, but...
And before anybody says, well, everybody just get chance to do what... No, you guys were saying that in WWE. So what's the fucking difference?
Mm-hmm.
He should be challenging for a world title in WWE. He should be doing it in AEW.
Yeah, exactly. He should not be a Bearcat either, so... I mean, despite what you said there, yeah, I really, really loved this. I mean, this had the inevitable Keith Lee, Powerhouse Hobbs, Luchasaurus Hoss fight, which is something I never knew I needed. I know Keith Lee is in this match, and I love Keith Lee to death. I think Jungle Boy was the MVP here.
Oh, yeah.
You know, this guy never ceases to amaze me.
Nope.
He is pulling off so much acrobatic moves. Jungle Jack himself. I mean, this guy's...
Question. When are we going to get these tag team titles off of him? And when are we going to split him off from this tag team? So we can
when the fuck is Christian turning heel on them?
this is a prime example of there's too many fucking people on this roster, and it's hard for a guy like Jungle Boy to shine when you have all of these other stars on the show.
A feud with Christian is exactly what he needs, and Christian needs to put him over clean in the middle of the ring. But he, spoiler alert, did not turn on the Jurassics at this point. There were some really good near falls close to the end of this match. Keith Lee and Swerve hit their combined finishers. Keith Lee had the Spirit Bomb, and then Swerve had that like double foot stomp that he usually does. It's a great fucking finisher. I believe on Ricky Starks, who wasn't too bad in this match himself. I thought that was the fucking finish. I thought that was it. I was sitting there like, oh my god.
There were a couple of points where I thought Swerve and Our Glory were going to win this match. And honestly, I wouldn't have been upset because, like I said, I want Jungle Boy to kind of move on from the tag team scene now.
I do too. Good mic work actually predicted that Luchasaurus would be the one turning heel just because of what Christian did. And I'm like,
Christian Cage is the one to do it, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, it's predictable, but as long as it's a good segue to get there, I don't mind it. But I believe, what was the fucking finish of this match? Let me look it up.
Memorable.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. This was a really, really fun tag team brawl. Again, I do have to nitpick that this is a triple threat tag match, so why the fuck are these idiots tagging for the first part of this thing? It doesn't fucking matter.
At some point, like, who's the legal man at this point?
I could complain about this until the cows came home, but yeah, Luchasaurus actually, so he launches Swerve way high into orbit. Jungle Boy hits the Thoracic Express on Swerve, and Swerve is the one to eat the pinfall, which shocked me because he was
when Starks or Hobbs easily could have eaten the pin.
Starks was the pinfall guy. I was looking at this lineup and I was like, Jungle Boy has to pin Starks to retain, if anything. But no, it was Swerve, the guy who was just signed at Revolution.
AEW, can we chill the fuck out on signing people now, please?
I don't know if they're gonna. I don't know, man. I mean, Johnny Elite is waiting in the wings somewhere. Somehow, some way, he was nowhere to be found on this card. But
Johnny Elite, the one who jobbed out to Miro this last night.
What the fuck was up with that? Huh?
We're already gotten to that point with Johnny Elite. So
God, it's pissing me off.
You guys are mad that they were doing it to him in WWE, but now they're doing it to him in AEW. So what's the fucking difference?
It makes me so mad. Johnny Elite should be a world champion, but I really dug this match. It was a 4-star match for me easily. I didn't like this as much as the 3-way from Revolution, Jurassics and the Bucks and Red Dragon.
Oh no, absolutely not. No.
I thought that match was much better.
You
but
know how much I love established tag teams, and there was only one established tag team in this match.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the champion.
Okay. We've reached that point, my friends. Hangman Adam. Yeah. But we still have a fucking world title match to talk about. Hangman Page versus CM Punk, the #1 contender. Built up over 9 months. CM Punk arrived on the scene at the first dance in Chicago. And it's all built up to this. AEW's WrestleMania. Here Punk is in the main event challenging for a world title. Hangman Page wanted it full gear. He's had some great defenses. He twice went the distance with Bryan Danielson. Lance Archer in a Texas death match. In the Adam Clinic against Adam Cole at Revolution. All building up to CM Punk here. I feel like this Hangman Page CM Punk dynamic, these two guys could be Tony Khan's equivalent to The Rock and Stone Cold. Because both of those guys were baby faces going into WrestleMania 17. Not to say that this match was going to be anywhere near as good as Rock and Austin in Houston that night, but I feel like this had the potential to have that same dynamic there, you know? Even though these guys are locking up for the first time. And it was clear. It was clear that they locked up for the first time because there were some issues in this match on CM Punk's end.
I'm gonna get so much shit for
all right.
all I'm about to say.
I know Tomas has a big little spiel he wants to get into.
Let me get this straight. Let me get this out of the way real quick. before anybody says,
Here we go.
you were so happy when CM Punk came back.
He was.
Yeah, everybody was, because nobody thought it was going to fucking happen. So to experience that moment, of course I'm going to be happy. It did not take long for me to realize why I'm not really a big CM Punk fan in the beginning. He is so fucking overhyped. He is so fucking overrated. I can think of 20 wrestlers
there it is
in my head that are better than CM Punk. And
Mm-hmm.
CM Punk, waltzed into AEW, has lost once since he has been here. And now he automatically gets a world title shot because he exists.
And it's
went over tonight.
It's vindication. It's vindication for him.
Fucking person went over.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I told you it was going to happen, dude. As soon as this match was announced.
Fucking person went over.
Can I get the positive out of the way here real quick? Because I feel like you're going to disagree with me here. I think the wrestling in this match was really solid for the most part. Especially for two guys that were locking up for the first time. I think for the most part, they were pulling it off. You know, CM Punk should never try a buckshot lariat ever again in his career. I mean, he could not stick the landing by any stretch of the imagination. And I'm sure he'll be the first one to tell you that for sure. Because he has said he's his own worst critic. Hangman Page does hit the go to sleep at some point, which is another fantastic trope. I loved seeing that. I wish that was the finish. But here's the big thing that we're talking about here. Of course has to be the finish. Hangman Page goes for the world title, grabs the belt from ringside, looks like he's about to hit Punk with it. This reeks very much of a classic Bret Hart match from back in 1992. Him against Roddy Piper at WrestleMania 8. Both those guys were baby faces. They were fighting over the Intercontinental title. Roddy Piper was on the precipice of being a heel. He was right teetering that line. He was going for a belt shot, I believe. He was going to cheat in some facet. And then Bret Hart pulled a fast one on him and took the title from him. The exact same thing happened here. Page throws down the belt. Literally, Punk picks him up, hits a GTS, and wins. I told you it was going to happen, dude. I told you.
Fucking person went over.
Yeah.
Because when you sit there and you're CM Punk and you say that you want to elevate this roster, so you're going to beat every single one of them? So you're just going to walk in and take this world title and everybody's got to look good in defeat? When he's so fucking overhyped, he's so fucking overrated, he couldn't lace Bryan Danielson's boots. I can think of 20 other wrestlers off the top of my head that are better than CM Punk. And I'm sorry, I just don't see why he needed to win this world title.
Yeah.
I don't see it.
Paige,
this could have been a huge... Paige would have looked a lot better if he would have won, and it would have made Punk look a lot better because he put fucking Paige over.
Yeah.
How does Paige benefit from losing to Punk?
He doesn't. He doesn't at all. I mean, it's a really tough subject. Here's my thing with CM Punk. I respect what he did for the business a while ago. I was really happy to see him. And as soon as I saw this match was booked, I was like, this is the Tony Khan prophecy coming to life. Because it feels to me like this was the plan from day one. To have CM Punk come in at some point after some success, and then he will take the world title, and then he'll try to elevate AEW to a higher level.
By beating everybody.
Did you really expect CM Punk to come back after 7 years and lose, though? All the time?
Not all the time.
Like...
He's lost a grand total of once.
Yeah, but what was his biggest...
Upon people over than CM Punk.
Hold on a second, though.
Lesnar has put over more people than CM Punk.
That's fair. But what was his biggest complaint when he left WWE? He was losing to all the part-timers. CM Punk is at least there on a regular basis.
Adam Page ain't no part-timer, though. Wardlow ain't no part-timer.
He's not a part-timer, but here's what I'm saying, though.
Part-timer, though.
He's not a part-timer. I agree with you. Like, Page, like, for like, for all intents and purposes, for elevating newer stars, yeah, Adam Page definitely should have won this match with that mindset. But from a money standpoint, I understand why Tony Khan did what he did. It's, again, really, really, really tough to call this, but I feel like I'm just going to have to wait and see where this goes. If this does happen to be how MJF finally gets the world title, if this is a bridge to get Bryan Danielson the championship down the line, maybe CM Punk turns heel at some point and becomes Tony Khan's corporate champion.
I would have been a lot more happier if he would have turned heel tonight.
I mean,
like, I'd be singing a different tune.
I still feel like that's going to happen, though, because Punk does prefer being a heel. You know,
it's right now is the most WWE AEW World Champion I've ever seen in my life, and I know I'm gonna get fucking bricks.
There it is.
I'm gonna have to be Daredevil and catch a brick through my window.
Oh,
when Vince McMahon puts the title on somebody that we do not like, he has them go out there and say, "Well, I'm the champion, whether you like it or not." CM Punk said the same exact words last night on Dynamite.
He did. You know, and the crowd cheered him because he's not Goldberg. He's not Brock Lesnar. You know, CM Punk is there every week. Goldberg is never there every week at his age. And I'll be honest, I mean, I would rather have CM Punk as the main guy in the promotion over CM Punk is miles better than half of WWE's main roster, in my opinion. I think he's better than Omos for sure. He's better than Shaky. He's better than Jinder Mahal and all these guys.
He's better than Kevin Owens.
He's not
better than Seth Rollins.
No, that's not what I said.
He's not better than Roman Reigns. He's not better than Ricochet. He's not better than Shinsuke Nakamura.
That's not what I said. I said CM Punk is better than a lot of the people on the main roster that are not ready. You know, there's a lot of people on
this one being better than AJ Styles.
He's not. AJ Styles is the best wrestler in the world. Why is he not the WWE champion right now?
Better than Edge. As far as saying that.
He can do this all day. He really does not like CM Punk right now. I saw the 3 count happen. Tomas was
his welcome. He's already overstayed his welcome. He overstayed his welcome when he didn't put Eddie Kingston over. He overstayed his welcome when he got the piss beaten out of him by Wardlow, and he still pinned him.
Yeah.
Forgive me if I'm for being fucking annoyed with this guy.
Yeah.
Don't worship the ground he walks on like everybody else does.
You have every right to be upset with him. Yeah. You know, it's he's not for everybody. Do I love the guy as much as a lot of other people like a Daniel Bryan or an AJ Styles? No. I mean, I think he's good. I mean, him and Adam Page put together a nice match here in the main event, but I feel like it's a thing where I'm going to have to wait and see what happens. If CM Punk turns heel in hindsight, I feel like we're going to be looking back on this and being like, man, you know, because they were presenting.
Look forward to Forbidden Door when he pins Tanahashi clean in the middle of the fucking ring. I'm thinking about that too.
Dude, I wanted CM Punk versus Will Ospreay. I wanted CM Punk versus like fucking Kenta. CM Punk versus Kenta. That is just like waiting for them.
Tanahashi's gonna be great. Punk and Tanahashi is gonna be great. Just Punk's gonna win.
Yeah. Will it be better than this match? Do you think?
Perhaps.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's got potential because Punk's not going to hit a buckshot lariat again in the match against Tanahashi. But Double or Nothing eventful show, 8.5 out of 10 for me. I enjoyed myself for the most part. It was a little too long. CM Punk winning the title is a mixed bag, obviously. Very controversial on the ZNT wrestling show here. But again, I feel like it's one of those things we're going to have to wait and see. As it is, CM Punk is the champion. He was filled with tears. They were presenting him like it was Eddie Guerrero winning the title in San Francisco.
Don't make me fucking laugh.
I know, but that's
Eddie Guerrero's boots.
I know, he couldn't, but that's the way they were presenting it. And I'm like, dude, CM Punk is nowhere near Eddie Guerrero's level. Come on. You know, but anyway,
again, that's just my opinion.
Final thoughts on the show.
Good. Again, a great palate cleanser after all the garbage WWE's been feeding us. Way too fucking long. Really good wrestling, but some decisions that I obviously didn't agree with.
Yeah.
With all that being said, more positive than negative though. So I still feel comfortable giving this an 8.
Yeah. All right. I feel like I like the show more than you did then. Okay. Nice. Be honest when it comes to my feelings with AEW.
just because I think AEW is a great alternative does not mean they are prone to criticism. And that is the number one thing I want fans to understand.
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, constructive criticism, at least. We're not going to sit here and be like, oh, we're going to hate on everything, you know, like fucking. I can't think of a good example right now, but
and again, if you guys are mad with my opinion, tune in next week when I shit all over Hell in a Cell.
Yep, and we're going to be talking about that. We have a 2004 retrospective coming up on the ZNT Wrestling Show. Ironically enough, the Eddie Guerrero title win is coming up very, very soon. I can't wait to reminisce on that. So hit that subscribe button if you're new. Hit that notification bell if you've made it this far. Hit that thumbs up. I'm still floored by the support that this channel has gotten since the very beginning. Thank you all so very much for tuning in. It has been such a blast. Commence that back talk. Let us know what you thought of Double or Nothing, what your favorite match was, and all that stuff. Again, do I wish I was there? Yeah, but you know what? Hanging out with Tomas and, you know, just getting to, you know, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. I'll say that.
A lot of fun stories.
A lot of fun stories. Yeah, it was it was an interesting night for sure. But guys, see you next time.